Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nicholas Rivas, and I do videos on politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the UFC fight night and the UFC card that I'm anticipating the most. So the recent fight night, I didn't really watch all of it. I was kind of just glimpsing around and stuff. But I know that within that fight card, you had Misha Tate, Sharon Burgos, and then you had of course, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. Two guys who I'm very excited to see fight. Two guys who I pretty much see being, kind of somewhat of the future. I guess less so Brian because he did fight the champion already, and he lost to Max, and now he lost to Yair. So it's kind of hard not to see Yair as he's like the guy who's going to be taking over the featherweights because he's good. He's good. I think he has the heart, but can he take Volk? I don't think so. But going down the list, Misha Tate versus Lauren Murphy. I mean, Misha Tate needs to hang up the gloves. I'm glad she came back. People were kind of ragging on her for coming back, but it's you gotta try it, right? You're gonna forget, or you're gonna regret all of the moments you don't do right. So her coming back was just a given. She had to come back. She had to have tried it. That was her goal. So I have no hate for her. She had to do what she had to do. Lauren Murphy, even though I didn't watch it, I hear that she did get pieced up pretty big. What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? It's one of those cases where I'm glad she's in the sport. She's a legend, but it's just part of the sport. It's just part of the UFC and any sort of combat sport, any sport. People grow. So, it sucked, but I'm glad that she is coming back, and I'm glad she's pushing through and still trying, but I think it's done for her. Shane Burgos fought. I don't even know who he fought. When I look up the guy he fought, he doesn't even have a name popping up on Google. That's got to be a mistake. I like Shane Burgos. I think he's a pretty cool fighter. I didn't even see his. Let's pull up his stuff because I know he fought. I don't even remember who he fought, but it was an entertaining fight, I'm sure, because Shane Burgos is always the guy's fighting for his life, Li Jing Liang, I think his name. He's cool. I like him. I know he lost to Kamsat, so that's kind of a shitty thing, but seems like he's still fighting and pushing through. Yair versus Brian. So it sounded like Yair was piecing him up in the clips I've seen, even though the fight wasn't long. I think it's something where I wish to see them fight in better conditions, but it's part of the fight game. You're milliseconds from losing everything. That's all it takes. That's how quick it is to go into a guillotine, an arm bar, and a knockout, right? You can just always have these injuries, so or these just losses, and so I guess that's part of it. Yair's, I think, deserves is a weird word, but he did obtain it fairly, and I think it was just part of the sport. Should Brian and him fight again? I don't think anybody's even asking for that. But it was an interesting fight. I wish I could have seen a full round, round based, utilize all the rounds, but it is what it is. He's a beast. Yair is a beast. It's not like a Rob Font situation where Rob Font, I think, even though his eye injury seems true, right? People do want to see an actual fight between them. that's not the fight that people were wanting to see. Whereas this, it's this is kind of part of the sport. I guess so was the eye pokes, but still, I want to see a better Brian Ortega. I want to see Yair come back. It's kind of crazy to think he lost to people like Jeremy Stevens. That's crazy because I'm not saying Jeremy Stevens isn't good, but I just feel like Yair is such a good boxer, and seeing him go against Jeremy. I haven't seen the fight though. The Holloway fight was always fun. This Brian Ortega fight is interesting. Oh yeah, he beat Korean Zombie too. So, but he lost to Frankie Edgar. I wonder TKO. I never saw that one. But yeah, I mean it's a great fight. I'm curious to see where they go from here. The big reason I want, so the fight night was cool. Like I said, I didn't fight. I didn't just saw clips and stuff. But the fight I want to see is 280. Oh, I'm excited. That got announced. We were all kind of thinking it. Everybody was saying, is it going to be Charles versus Islam? Is it going to be Islam versus Benil because they never got their fight? Is it going to be Charles versus McGregor, right? This is the way to go. I think this is the best way. I mean, this is for fight fans something they've been wanting to see, and I think the stars are gonna align. There's not gonna be a perfect moment for this star to align ever again. Like, we're gonna see a Tony v Khabib, finally, right? You're getting a Tony v Khabib, not one for one, of course, but you know this is the fight everyone's walking for. These Dagestani wrestlers versus this jiu-jitsu, the age-old battle of, like, the reason why UFC even exists is what fighting style is the one, which fighting style is the top, the echelon. And there's no such thing. You want to have an all-rounded fighter. That's what makes you champion. And I think Charles has great striking. I think his striking has gotten better. Obviously, he has the most submissions. So, yeah, of course, his submission game is amazing. But Islam, those Dagestani wrestlers, you really entered a new age when you had Khabib. You have these new wrestlers, these new type of are they Sambo? Is this Sambo? I always forget. But it's interesting. It's interesting no matter how you put it. I'm excited. I am so excited to see this fight. I haven't seen the full card, so I'm pulling it up right now to see who's going to be even on it. I know it's very, very soon. I think it's even still on the UFC website. It's TBD for the main card, yeah. So even though Charles and Makhachev got announced, they don't have anybody else on the cards yet. Yeah, I'm checking. That fight's going to be incredible. They're very similar too. I always think Islam's a little bit shorter, but he's the same height as Charles. About the same weight, of course, 155, 156. Reach, Charles. Wow, Charles is a crazy reach. Wow. This is going to be interesting. I can see Islam going for the takedown, Charles defending it. Or if Charles doesn't defend the takedown, he's probably on the floor with Islam. And I don't think he's getting mauled like Dan Hooker was or Bobby Green was. I think Charles is going to be a better fight on the ground. Obviously, that's like saying, water's wet or whatever. Like, I don't see a world where Makhachev has that much control like he does with these other guys. And that could be a lot. I think the UFC might be throwing a lot too much at him. Because with every fighter he had, they were scared of his grappling, And I think the people who, like, the reason Paul Felder beat Charles Oliveira was because he wasn't afraid of his grappling. He was like, oh, screw you. I'm just going to do what I have to do, be assertive. Whereas you had Gaethje in his fight with Charles, he didn't even try to, like, get down there with him. He's like, no, you get up. I'm not even going to get near that. And it makes you scared of the takedown. Like, you can't be, when you're on your back, Michael Chandler handled this new Charles Oliveira more than anybody. He had his back in everything, and Michael Chandler got out. That's why Michael Chandler's my favorite fighter. I love Michael Chandler. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see a world where Islam wins. I know it's a bold statement, though. Khabib boys are always they're always changing the game. The Dagestani kids can wrestle. I just can't see a world where he doesn't. I don't know. I can't see the world where Charles loses because of this new blood, right? Like, Charles needs someone who want to understand his grappling game. I know back then he was losing, but that was a different Charles. This is a new Charles. This is a scary Charles. And eventually he's going to get knocked out. You can't keep taking those hits forever. And I think his underestimating Islam could be his downfall. Right? Like, you just get a left hook you don't see, but I think Charles is a well-rounded fighter, and he's hungry. I mean, he lost his belt. He doesn't, like, this is going to be his legacy. He loses his belt and then loses it again, like in the span of 2 fights. You got a hungry Charles. You do have a hungry Islam, but Charles is defensively better, offensively better, and I think striking-wise and veteran-wise, he's going to prove to Islam something he hasn't seen yet with these other fighters who are good, who are vets, but I think we're scared of him. I can't see Charles being worrisome of this, but I guess we'll see, because I think with UFC 280, it's going to be a lot of disregarding of Charles, just like they always do, every time. I'm even reading this. One of the tweets I just saw was like a crowd against you, the commentary against you, the odds against you, in enemy territory. They're going to Abu Dhabi. Khabib coaching. Charles is the underdog, which is crazy being the champion. It's not unheard of. It happens all the time, but man, it's just weird. It's so weird to see this fight come down like this, where Charles is still being underestimated. And I don't think even if he had his title, he would still be, uh, overestimated. You know what I mean? Like I could see a world where they don't give them the dues, and I'm curious to see also too what other fighters are gonna say. Because I remember it was Dustin gaining a lot of love for a while, and then when he beat Dustin, a lot of fighters were like, you know what, this is a new guy, and everyone started giving love to Charles. They still gave love to Justin Gaethje, as they should, because he's a beast, but Charles is a different man. You can't mess with Charles. You can't mess with his defensiveness. And I think if anything, you're gonna have the fans. The fans are gonna side with Charles. I mean, I'm gonna side. I didn't side with him. I loved him, but I was like, Gaethje's a different beast. I was doubting him. But I think the fans are going to be on Charles' side, rooting for him. I think UFC diehards are going to say, like, no, that Charles is going to take it. But it's going to be a good fight. I think that's the main premise of this. The reason UFC 280 is going to get a lot of hype, because it's going to be one of the greatest fights of our time. It's huge. It's huge. You have this jiu-jitsu king and this Dagestani wrestler king. Come on. Let's see. But as all that being said, he's not Khabib. People are like, he's like the new Khabib. He's not. Khabib was a once-in-a-lifetime fighter, just like McGregor, just like Tony, just like Silva. He's not Khabib. Khabib was a different beast. I think I think that's where he will falter. He doesn't have that same pressure, or the same vet status, where you see Khabib under pressure would be pretty normal. Like, you can see Khabib being put under pressure and he still just keeps pushing forward. I haven't seen Islam have that, and so I'm curious. I know he's got knocked out, but I want to see more. I wish he fought Beneil, but you take what you can take. I think it's a good time to wrap it up around there. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a great day, and new videos every other day. UFC Sunday. Papa bless.